Tom Thumb, you're a weirdo, you know. So, guys, this Tom Thumb is very obsessed with me. I was on a live yesterday, okay? I was on a live yesterday trying to discuss the prompt. The prompt said, Reform 1, the left need to, something about the left. I can't remember what it said. So I was trying to discuss the prompt. Tom Thumb was like, where do you live? You don't live in the UK. I'm like, can I just discuss the prompt? Yeah, why do you need to just go to the Caribbean? I'm not even in the Caribbean. You need to, and then there was another person on the panel. Can we discuss the prompt or not? No. These people literally don't have the ability to read and stick on topic. And I always say English people have always been the weakest link. This is why I have this platform here to tell you exactly about them. It's pissing me off. People are like, oh, I'm so disappointed. I didn't think it would be like this. Why? I told you what English people are like. I've been telling you for about 2 years what English people are like. Why is anybody surprised? Good, though, to Scotland and to Wales, you understanding now, right? The whole thing is that you need to get the English out. Get them out. Because like I said on my page, England is for racists, for sexists, for fascists, for agists, for ableists. And people are like, no, it ain't. No, it ain't. Yes, it is. It absolutely is. Irish mammy reform got many. Well, yes. Because this is what English people are like. Please understand. Stephen Agar, why don't I just leave? I did. Will Shrimpy, if you don't like it, leave. I did. Tom Thumb, you love the UK. I do not. No. I love the Irish. I love the Scottish. I love the Welsh. I dislike the English because you disrupt everybody. You are the bane of everybody's existences. Before you Anglo-Saxons came to Britain, everything was kind of cool. You are the weakest link. Like I say up there, English people, you are the weakest link. You fail at everything. You steal from other people. You claim everything as your own. You think you're such a welcoming and tolerant society, but at the same time, flying your stupid flag, telling everybody to get out of your country. You are fake people. Graham Chris, go and educate yourself and understand the difference between ethnicity and nationality. I'm clearly not white. I don't have Anglo-Saxon heritage or ethnicity. I don't come from Northern Europe. Understand colonization. What is colonization? You guys use terms that you don't even know what they are. You don't understand what colonization is. You don't understand that you colonized Britain first as English people, and then you colonized the world, and so we end up talking like this. Crazy. Yeah, exactly, Kimberly. Claim Scottish inventions as their own. They claim everybody's inventions as their own. Really and truly. The Mulch Mama says, I'm happy I voted for a party that wants to protect everyone. Which one is that? Which party is that then, Mulch Mama? Oh, you voted Green. Fantastic. As a Green voter for over 10 years, I'm so glad that people are finally getting it. People are finally getting it. Stephen Agar. Oh, I get it. Stay outrageous. Rhetoric. Get outrageous. Get clout. Got it. What? T, they didn't listen in school. They didn't attend school, T. They did not even attend school. You've always voted Green. Fantastic, Mulch. Thank you so much. Beans says, happy we did conquer the world. Okay, so Beans, what did you do? What's your contribution to this conquering that you're so proud of? Is it the grape that you're proud of? Is it the thefts? Did you do that as well? Were you graping women and children during World War II? Was that you? Did you do that, Beans? Or did you do what you did in the Industrial Revolution, which was enslave your own children? Did you do that, Beans? Did you do that? Your family fought and died for our empire. Loser. Absolute loser. Really, loser. You don't even understand that you are cannon fodder for the rich. Your family was cannon fodder for the rich, the 1%. Do you even know how World War I started? Beans. It was a fight between cousins, between the German, between the English and the Russian. They all started fighting as a family and they dragged your ancestors into that fight. Why would you be proud of that? You should be furious at the royal family and the people in charge. You should be furious. It's not pride. Millions of people got dragged to their death because some men couldn't control their egos. You should not be proud. You should be angry, Beans, because why? That fucked up the rest of your ancestry. You don't have houses. You don't have jobs. You don't have money. You don't have any of these things, and you still try to say the British Empire is great. Everything is great. It's not great for you. It's not great for you. You guys need to wake up out of this delusion. You are so deluded, really and truly. And like I say, the rest of the UK, you know what's up. You know that these guys are the fucking problem, and they've always been the problem. Hello, Johnny boy. Good to see you. Good morning, Gumball. The election results are depressing. Don't worry. Remember, these are local elections. Local elections. There's still time. You also have to remember that Reform have been pushing their campaigning for 4 years now? 4 years. It's been a very, very long time since they've actually been doing this. And only now are people actually understanding the power of marketing, right? Only now they're understanding it. You're from Germany, you've got the same problems. Unfortunately, English people don't remember they came from Germany, same family. It's the same people from the UK to Germany to America to Australia, same freaking family. Fascists, racists, ageist, ableists, sexists. These are these people. Wake up and understand. Incest, thank you, T. Understand your neighbours. Don't act surprised that this is the result. Anybody can come to panel. There's literally a box there that says request. You can come up and talk to me. Like, please come up and have a conversation. It is very embarrassing to be English. If you're English, you should be embarrassed. You should be ashamed of yourself because you literally are deciding that you're not good enough as people, that you think that kicking immigrants out of your country will be to the benefit of you. Ridiculous, like really, truly. Okay, we've got some people who want to come to panel. We've got Mason. Johnny boy, I'm going to bring you in first because you asked first. So we got some people on my panel. Okay, we don't talk over each other. We talk one at a time, so everybody gets to hear, and we don't have any feedback. So I'm going to bring Johnny boy in first because he was the first person to ask. So Johnny boy, how are you this morning?
Hey Fox, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Actually, listen, I know it's not nice news to see that number of councillors elected for Reform, but when we look at all the others combined, we know that they're definitely not the majority. Yeah. The other thing to remember is, and also for the comments, because I can see the Reich wing having a meltdown in the comments. They're saying, "Oh, they're taking over." Well, actually, how many councils have Reform actually won? What is it? Sort of 9? Is it maybe the maximum? How many councils are there altogether? So really, they're not. It's no great big takeover. The media like to sensationalise everything, and if you look at it this way, because they've got a few councils, and I'm from one of those councils, by the way. We didn't have elections. We already had Reform. They put up my council tax to the absolute maximum they could get away with. Made cuts. So look at it this way. What they'll do is they'll show in how inept they are, right? And come the GE, people will be like, "Oh no, they're just as bad. Nah, no thanks, I'm not having them," and that's it, really.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point to make. A very, very good point to make. I always say, and I think a lot of people understand that English are doing this to themselves. They are punishing themselves because clearly they haven't suffered any punishment from all the shit that they've done to the world and to themselves. So now they have to have punishment in the form of the way that they vote. And they will realize that this is karma coming back to their asses in a full throttle way.
100%.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Johnny boy. Really and truly, like, English people don't understand the way that they've been so played and manipulated. Like, they really don't understand what puppets they are. They don't understand that this is the 1% playing an excellent game. The 1% are winning. And you lot who vote for reforms, you're the good little bitches. You are doing so well. so well. You're doing everything that they've wanted you to do. They've wanted you to be manipulated at every single turn, and you've fallen for every single trick, thinking that these people really have your best interests at heart. No, you failed and succeeded at the same time. So well done. Thank you, Johnny boy. Stick around.
Thank you.
We're going to go to Mason next, please.
What party
Mason.
has the...
1 minute. We're going to go in order. Mason, you're next, please. Mason, how are you this morning?
I'm all right, thank you, love. How are you?
I'm not bad. What would you like to add to the topic today?
Oh, no, I'm not coming in. I'm not going political. When you said about English people should be embarrassed to be English, I just disagree with that, and I want to say that. I'm proud to be English, me, 100%. Proud to be British, proud to be English. We can all look back and say, oh, yeah, people have done this in history and stuff like that. But it's history. And obviously, I can't say, oh, my ancestors did and all that. But if you look throughout the world, every single country has all got their own dark things and been through periods. The French, everyone. But we don't look back and punish everyone else as much as we seem to say stuff about us. But I don't know. I don't think we should be ashamed to be English. Do you know what I mean?
That's absolutely your choice, Mason, not to feel ashamed. However, there are consequences of what the British Empire has done. And you guys like to compare empires to think that everybody, or even countries, to make you think that everybody did the same thing. They did not. They did not, Mason. Britain invaded 171 countries and displaced millions, killed 500 million people worldwide. And you guys are voting for reform because you don't actually understand what has happened historically to understand where you are presently. So if you're going to be proud, Mason, you need to understand the full story of your history, because what you do, it's not your fault, Mason, right? I grew up in the same system. We all grew up in the same system where it's completely been whitewashed to be like, this is great, we're the saviors, la, 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 la. All of the good stuff without actually understanding how bad everything actually is. Like, really, you guys don't understand how bad British history actually is. You're not willing to also go down and do a deep dive into understand how you got to where you are. You don't, Mason, too many English people don't even know they came from Northern Europe to start with, not indigenous to Britain. Don't understand the union that was formed with Scotland. Don't understand that. Don't understand the raping, the pillaging, the murdering across the whole entire world. You don't understand those parts. And then you end up having a go at people like myself who end up in the UK. Like, really, you need to do a little bit more. If you're going to be proud of all of it, because the fact of the matter is, where you are now in 2026, this is all karma coming back to the English right here, right now. It's coming back, and you have to decide which side of the story you're going to be on, Mason. This is literally your choice now.
You say about 1% and elites and stuff like that. These people with all this British Empire and all this stuff that British people have done, you can't say this is just British people. I think, maybe this is wrong, tell me if it is, but the British were the ones who stopped the slaves going on. We went around, I'm not saying we did it eventually, but I saw something like, again, this is wrong. It come out in British newspapers about the slave trade and what was going on. And we kicked off about it. We weren't happy about it.
I'm going to stop you for a minute there, Mason, because what you're doing
go on. Like I said, if I'm wrong, let me know.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for that. I appreciate that you actually thinking that you might be wrong on this. Yes, unfortunately you are. What happened is actually, I always have to do the same speech every single time. So apologies to everybody who's heard this many times. Slavery has a history that traces back to 3,500 BC in Iraq, Mesopotamia, okay? And Korea has the longest history of 2,000 years. So when you talk about slavery, which slavery you're talking about? I know you're talking about the transatlantic slave trade, and you didn't end that one. What you did, as the British, you actually went to your British colonies. And what is a colony? Places, like I said, that you raped, murdered, did all these horrendous things first. You stopped the slavery in those countries. Why? Because people were uprising. There were too many revolutions. People also weren't making money. Slave owners were very, very afraid of being unalive because that's what was happening. And the Norwegians and the Danish were the first countries who wanted to leave the transatlantic slave trade. They were the first countries, right? So when the British were doing it, they were like, okay, we need to replace slavery with something else. They replaced it with capitalism. And you guys always talk about the Industrial Revolution being such an amazing thing. Britain was in an absolute state. It was filthy, disgusting. And like I say, you guys don't even remember that parents were contracting their own children into slavery. So you didn't end slavery. You enslaved your own children to the system. That's what happened. That's exactly what happened. You had children as young as 4, Mason. I'm not having a go at you, by the way, Mason. I don't have a go at any of you here unless you actually come with some stupidity. I'm passionate when I talk because I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed, and everybody should be annoyed because we've all been brainwashed, right? Every single one of us has been brainwashed to make everything think that everything was all nice and roses. In the Industrial Revolution, children as young as 4 had fires lit under their legs. Thank you, chimney sweepers. You know they're second to none. Fires lit under them to go up to the chimney to clean faster. They were punishing children by dunking their heads into cisterns, trying to drown these children because they were falling asleep on the job. Children had their limbs cut off, their legs cut off, their heads crushed because they were actually going between the machines. Because when enslaved Africans were picking cotton, they brought them back to the UK and they told the children, right, it needs to go faster. Production needs to go faster. We're going to use these kids to crawl between the machines so we can actually keep production up. And guess what? Every single thing was to keep the 1% rich. The children of the UK, British children, are what have made the 1% rich. Desperate adults during the 1800s in Britain are what have made the 1% rich. And you forget that this is exactly what happened in Britain. You all forget, not you, Mason, because you're probably too young to know this history. Again, I'm 42 and I'm only learning this myself, right? I'm only learning this myself. The last 2 years, I've got to know quite a lot about British history and to wake up from all of the lies. So hopefully that is some more information that you need, Mason, because please, once you are repeating propaganda, it doesn't help you. It doesn't help anybody. It really doesn't. It only helps the 1%.
It sounds like you're the one repeating the propaganda, but whatever.
Castor Troy, there's actually a row. You see there's other people on the panel. If you can respect the fact that there's other people on the panel waiting. I'm also talking to Mason right now. Mason.
Nobody has an opposite view.
Castor
So
Troy, I will tell you one more time, Castor Troy, if you can't control yourself, you will be dropped from the panel. I'm sure you've got something that you want to say that may be quite important, but if you can't wait, you will be dropped. There's a queue. That's the last time I'm going to tell you. Mason.
Yeah, I'm going anyway, but I appreciate history. You look all across the world, each country's got their own history, and
Mason,
it's history for a reason.
What you've said
it's
already.
in past.
Mason,
yeah, wait.
You're
Right?
repeating.
I just think we learn from his history and we move on. We can't look back at it all the time thinking, oh, they fucking that, they've done that, they've done that.
Mason,
It's
you're
history.
repeating yourself.
Right? We've got to learn from it, and focus on future. Go forward. Look forward.
Mason, do you know the reason why things can't go forward? Do you actually know? Have you actually thought about the reasons why people can't go forward?
Go on.
No, have you thought about it?
Why can't we go forward?
Yeah, I'm
I just
asking
think
you. Why can't we go forward?
People spend too much time going, oh, well, fucking 100 years ago, they've done that, and fucking 20 years ago, they did that. It's stuff like that, haven't done, has it? It's not, no one alive today who actually alive back then. So,
Mason, do you know what's really sad, Mason, is again, you're just you're repeating what people around you are saying. You're repeating. So let me tell you again something else, okay? So the reason why people, in your words or you guys' words, can't move forward is because that shit is still happening today. In the treatment of people, the discrimination of people, and there's also this mass awakening, right, where we're actually trying to understand our history, to understand why we are still having all this shit done to us. And it's done in many different ways. The thing is, right, is that English people, I'm just going to mute you a second, Mason, because you've got a lot of background noise. Just going to mute you. The reason why we as black people and brown people are going through this awakening is because it's literally time. We have been gaslit so much to make us think that everything is okay, and we don't understand a lot. Of
you have your own countries.
Chester,
England isn't yours.
Go now. Back. You see what happens to these people? They actually have no self-control, so they get they actually get dropped from the panel. He was warned 3 times. Thank you as well, Johnny, for asking to be moderators. We do have some moderators here as well. I know that the chat is going very fast this morning, so thank you also for the offer, Johnny boy. If I need more moderators, I will definitely contact you, Johnny boy. Thank you so much. So Mason, yes, you're repeating what you've heard. And like I said, we've tried for hundreds of years to move forward, but the problem is that English people actually don't let us. They keep reminding us and they keep saying you're still a slave, you're still a piece of shit. Like they literally keep reminding people all of the time. And even in outward behavior, whether it's outward racism or it's subtle discrimination. For example, recently, Brexit vote of 2016, you did not want the Eastern Europeans to be in the country. You were attacking them. You were destroying their shops, and you even unalived some people over it. This is not history. This is present day. And still now, British weapons are where? In the Middle East. It's not in the past, Mason. It's today. So do you understand that, Mason? And then I'm going to move back to Johnny Boy because I think he's got something he wants to add.
Yeah, like I said, at the end of the day, yeah.
Mason, you're not listening, unfortunately. See, Mason, you have that mindset where you're saying something, I'm correcting you, and you're still very stuck in that propaganda mindset, okay? I think you're quite young.
Can I finish? You didn't even let me finish.
You can't finish, Mason.
Oh, well, I can't. Well, there we go. That's what the problem is, isn't it?
No,
listen,
the thing is, Mason, I'm trying to tell you about your country. And all you're doing is just going by the script. England is this, England is that. And I'm telling you, it's the opposite. People in the chat are also telling you it's the opposite, Mason. But all you're doing is just saying propaganda. Phrase 1, we freed the slaves. Phrase 2, you are reading from a script, Mason. These aren't your own thoughts, Mason. You didn't come up with any of these thoughts by yourself, Mason. You didn't come up with anything that you're saying is not an original thought, Mason. Do you understand that?
Well, like I say, if you'd have let me finish, all I'm going to say
Mason.
is...
Okay, we've done our conversation here. Thank you so much, Mason. We're going to drop you because we need to move to the next people. We've got more people who want to come up. Johnny Boy, how are you again? We're going to bring you, and then I'm going to go to the Mulch Mama.
Thank you, Fox. Yeah, thanks. I'm just a bit astounded actually on that kind of behaviour. And also, no, you listen to me. I felt that was a bit strong. So just to go, I don't think he was even 18, unfortunately. So, but bless him. He might learn. And exactly what you were saying. It was in a circular argument, round and round. It didn't employ active listening skills. Didn't take critical thinking classes. Clearly. And it's annoying. I don't really like to put someone down, but I really hope he learns that it's still present, that today is still a problem, that it still exists. And also, you've got this guy on the top of the panel. Just be wary of him.
Okay. Which one? Ricky Lake?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, why is that, brother? I'm just here to talk about...
We're not even going to get into that then, because I think I've seen some people in the chat also say the same thing. So, Ricky Lake, I am unfortunately not going to allow you to come up because there's a lot of people who want to come up and talk today. A lot of people. And, we want to keep the conversation going and flowing, and we want to have a high level of understanding, okay? A high level of understanding. Again, if you don't get it, that's fine, but I do not have the time or the want to actually engage in a lot of bullshit. If you guys know anything about me, I ain't about that. So thank you so much for that, Johnny. Right, we're going to go to the Mulch Mama. Mulch, how are you today?
I'm fine. How are you? I've followed you for ages. So first time on the panel.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you for being here. I'm really happy you're here.
Okay. I wanted to put a different spin on it. I'm currently studying a degree in criminology and psychology. And I watch people coming out with this sort of like cognitive dissonance that, reform is going to do this, going to do that. And I'm like, you're voting your own rights away. The biggest thing with women voting for reform, I'm like, do you not study the history? I know we studied the history. I did it at school. It was a very long time ago. But we had the suffragettes fighting for not only women's rights, but men's rights as well. So I'm sat here going, have you not watched the news recently? Have you not seen everything that has been happening? Do you think that reform was going to change that? No, they weren't. They were going to give tax breaks to all their rich friends, and they weren't going to give two craps about anybody below that. So the poorest of us, the most vulnerable of us. And if you look in like all of my case studies recently, it's been people of colour and people in Asian communities are far more likely to be discriminated against, to be unalived in care for the police. And you just see the same patterns and it just keeps going and going. And I'm like, I implore people to actually, it's not unobtainable to get an education. I'm with the Open University. Go and get an education. Choose something that will help people, like criminology and psychology. It's not hard to get onto. And like, I'm disabled. I've got ADHD, so like they put in places so that you can actually learn. But go and get an education. Try and actually make something different. We've got 3 years to battle this. I think that that's what people should be doing.
Absolutely. And I really feel like, though, and this is a conversation I've been having over the last few days, I think, and even Johnny said this as well, I think we're also underestimating people, like generally as people in the UK, there is a lot of, not underestimating, overestimating people's ability, like this cognitive thinking thing we're asking people to do, or critical thinking. A lot of people have not even mastered basic thinking. Truly, they've not mastered basic thinking, and then we're asking them to also go and educate themselves. They're also too busy to even do that because capitalism was born in the UK, so everybody's working their bloody asses off. So when have they got time?
Just to afford it?
Yeah. So when have they got time to actually do like an Open University thing, like you mentioned, or any other extra activities? Like we have to be so much older. I only got into a second education really the last few years or so, because I'm quite into psychology. I did that at A level, and then I did my degree in multimedia computing. So I love the mind and I love technology, right? But now you have to really make an effort upon yourself to make yourself be better. But like I said, the UK is not actually built for growth. It's not built for people to actually expand and to become better people. It's a very negative country. And as we know, higher education now is very expensive. So expensive. Like I was looking actually at OU courses a few years ago and I was like, Jesus, the way that these are so expensive. I said, what?
They are so expensive. I think it is about $7,000 per term for me. Like it's a lot. But there is a thing of like, well, if you aren't going to make a certain amount of money in your field, then even then paying it back is not as much as people think. So it's not as scary, but they almost like try and make it so that you think I can never obtain that because of the expense.
Yes.
So it's almost like the same thing, like they're trying to trick you out of it. And I think Open University is good for anybody who doesn't feel like they can get out, or they feel like they're not going to have enough free time, or they work. But also going to say, I studied history as well. My cousin is a history teacher, and my partner was in the military, and he's like, we have seen as like a collective so much horror, and somebody who actually supports Palestinian people. And I have a friend who actually is in Palestine, and the things in the media that are portrayed, it is so much more worse out there than people think. People are terrified. People have lost family members. My friend has lost his home. And you forget that people out there are also educated. My friend Majid, he is trained in all kinds of things, and we're trying to get him out, but it's just not obtainable to do. And that is why a lot of us in our area voted Green. And I also run a hub for local people. When they're in need, they can come and get food hampers. We give out Christmas hampers to children and families. And we have seen an influx of the amount of help that is needed. And we're like, what is going on? It's never been this busy. Last year was our busiest Christmas. I think we had over like 300 families.
Wow.
So that literally puts into perspective people need more and more help, and we don't get any funding because we are not a charity, we are a non-profit. But it's just like, all these people need more help. They can't even go to a food bank because that's not accessible, because people work. So people who are working need help too.
And the thing is,
It's really sad.
This is not a new problem as well. People don't understand the economics of a country. I was on a live yesterday and I was literally saying the UK is not a country, it's a business. It is a business. And people keep flying this flag and like, you're again, and I will always mention people flying this flag represents the 1%. It represents everything that came before then. It doesn't represent what's happening now at all. And the fact is, if you live in the sixth richest country and you have food banks and you have people who are so struggling to put on their heating, to do anything in the country, it makes no freaking sense at all. And I think what's really interesting about these results up here is that you look at the numbers, right? Just everybody who's defected from Conservative, from Labour, has just gone straight to Reform by design. They don't realise how much they're being manipulated. And if they think that another Conservative party is going to make sure that they've got more food on their table, more money in their bank, honestly, it's terrible. Thank you so much, Mulch Mama. We're going to move to the next person. I am going to drop people because there's more and more people who want to come up this morning. Clearly, this is a hot conversation. So I am going to keep you, Johnny, though, at the bottom there, because you can also have some things to mention as well. So thank you so much, Mulch Mama. Appreciate you. Thank you for coming up and thank you for your wise words. Really appreciate you. Thank you. Okay, we're going to go to Othams now, next on the panel.
Yeah, hello.
Hello,
I've just got a couple things to say. So,
1 minute.
why should I?
1 minute. Wait.
Oh.
I asked, how are you?
Oh, I'm okay, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Now you can continue.
So, what? Obviously, with everything going on currently, everyone's facing each other, saying support this people, support these people. But why should I have to sit here and worry about different things happening around me when I have a life I have to worry about myself?
That's absolutely true. That's really absolutely true. And like I said earlier, maybe you didn't hear this part. Yeah, I'm just going to disconnect you a minute just because Shadow wanted to come up before you. Yeah, please do request up and you can come up next. Yes, Othams, exactly. This is all again by design. Britain has literally made you so busy that you can only focus on yourself. Truly. And also mental health is a big issue as well. It's a massive issue. And because there is so much negativity in the UK, that people also don't really have enough time to deal with their mental health issues. So even it is literally at your capacity to just deal with yourself. And it's completely understandable, truly. But also at the same time, if you're voting for reform, the minimum, please, that you can do is understand that if you have a mother, a sister, a daughter, any women in your family, that they don't care about the women in your family. That's literally the minimum that you have to understand. Also, if you're not a rich white man, they're also not for you. That's literally the minimum to understand.
Well, I don't really support either side, left or right. I don't see the need in either of them. I think there's issues and rights with both sides. Mm-hmm. With reform, I was a care kid, so I've not really got any women to look about for my family. I've not really had any of that support growing up. But why, once again, why should I sit here and side myself to support a party that I don't really...
Investigation.
Thanks, please don't talk. Everybody is on mute.
No.
Vanex.
Why should I...
How many? What are the numbers?
Why are you talking, Vanex? We've literally got everybody else on the panel here. If you unmute again, if anybody unmutes, it's an instant drop, okay? It's an instant drop. Vanex, you've been told you're an instant drop. You literally spent so much time waiting. Anybody who comes up on the panel and is waiting, Vanex, you've been dropped because you don't know how to listen. And I think a lot of people actually wanted to hear you speak. You wasted your own chance. So you can apologise to everybody else who wanted to talk to you. But Othams, yeah. So I like to think as well that I'm kind of centre, right? People think that I'm left wing, and I do vote Green, and I have voted Green for over 10 years. But I also voted Brexit. I want a better distribution of wealth within the country. And that's why I voted Brexit. People were like, why? Because I thought a better party would be able to execute that. That was completely my fault, right? Because sometimes when we vote, we're voting for or we're voting for things that we think can be executed, right? I wanted there to be more money for poor people and for the working class of the UK. That's why I voted Brexit. It was wrong. It was absolutely wrong. I vote Green because I care about the environment. I care about people. That's why I also vote Green, right? So for me, my voting is actually less selfish and it's more selfless when I vote. And yeah, I think people need to make more conscious decisions as to understand the consequences of why you vote. Going to the voting booth in the first place, why are you going there? Unfortunately, in 2026, people who are voting Reform, their idea is that I don't like other people. And that is so freaking sad. A country whose slogan is tolerance, even though tolerance actually just means to accept things you don't like. People will say we're a tolerant society, but you don't want black and brown people or even other white people in the country. It is very contradictive and it contradicts what you're actually standing for. So yeah, Othoms, I think we need to find a way as British citizens or British people to bring everything back to centre. Unfortunately, it's not going to be the case and it's not going to happen because English people are too holding on to racism. That's unfortunately the case. They're so attached to it. They're obsessed with it. They love it. It's their baby. They want to nurture it. Racism is all they have and poverty is all they have. So it's not going to happen. English people need to crumble. Their civilization is going anyway. History is being uncovered. There's the great replacement theory that you guys are coming up with to say that we're being exited out and we're good. No. All of these things are happening naturally, Othom. So eventually, when there is less English people around, we will go back to more of a centre, truly. And immigration will not stop. And that is actually what's making people go more to centre again, Othoms. So again, look after yourself. Please do read as much as you can, educate yourself much as you can, be on these panels, understand the conversation, and try to stay as centre as possible, Othoms. Like really and truly, it's very difficult if you don't believe or don't want to be on left and right. Honestly, be as centre as you can. And also if you can be an ally to as many people as possible, that also does help. So thank you so much, Othoms. Right, we're going to go to the next person. I'm going to draw.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Next person we've got is Sam on the panel. Sam, how are you today? Sam, are you there? Sam's phoning?
No, oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm good.
Good. Lovely.
How are you?
I'm lovely, thank you. So this is the topic today. Of course, we're talking about the election results, and my platform here, if you know me or not, is about English people. They're the ones who actually, of course, have said very clearly they want to vote for reform, whereas Scotland have said we want independence. It's the SNP, and Wales have also said Wales first in Plaid Cymru. So what would you like to add, Sam?
I just wanted to add how reform is winning in local elections, and that's really freaking me out because I don't understand how other people, especially people of color, women, and gay people or people of queer are voting for reform, knowing that their rights are gonna be taken off them, and that really anxiety basically. I get really anxious about that. So I'm what party? Because I've been trying to get my parents to vote for Green. They did vote for Green, but other people are reform, but they're people of minority, they're basically minority who are gonna lose their rights, and I'm really freaked out about that. So what is the best?
Get Johnny in. If you're still there, Johnny, I think he's had his hand up. Maybe he wanted to respond.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, thank you. Sam, you good?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm actually all right. So yeah, listen, I get your fear, 100%. Unfortunately, I won't really have much to fear as a whitey middle-class man because I'm not one of the target. Well, I'm not their target audience. They're not after me. They're not going to punish me for anything. Although I am working class, not middle class really. So I think I might be suffering. However, let me tell you something. That it's not a big thing at the minute. They're not that big. The media have inflated them to beyond what they put a landslide and things like that. Let me give you an example of when this has happened before. So a while back, Labour in power when they won their first election. I haven't been a Labour fan for since Blair, really. Well, Corbyn I liked. But Labour lost a lot of councils to Tory at one point, quite a lot. And then Labour won a GE straight after. It was literally back to back. So really, if you look at how many councils Reform have won compared to how many councils there are, it's a minuscule amount. It's an embarrassment to Reform, really, because they probably thought they'd do a lot better. And it goes to show that bots can't vote. So everything you see online is mainly bots making silly comments. And you look into their profiles, clearly fake profiles. The people that come on here, they're just rage baiting. So, yeah, I understand your concern. And you do have, I think it's justified that you do feel fear. But the media want you to feel that. And who controls the media? The right.
Wait, I've been wondering, like, people have been saying, like, oh, it's better to vote for Labour than, like, Green. Is that, like, better than Green? Because I'm so confused.
Fox, may I address that, please? Sorry.
Yeah, tactical
Sorry to
voting.
overspeak.
That's okay. Tactical voting was literally in the last general election. And how did that go?
Yeah, it didn't go great.
Exactly. What we have to do as individuals is vote for what we want. Like I said, I've been a Green voter for over 10 years and finally things are changing. We are so brainwashed in the UK to make you think that there's only two parties. And also, even when Lib Dem had its last chance and it had the coalition with the Conservatives, I can't remember what year, people thought that Lib Dems would never have a chance again because they overturned their decision on student tuition fees, and the tuition fees remember this, right? 3 times higher. But look at Lib Dem, they're still coming up. So it really is important for you to always vote for what you believe. And this goes for everybody, I don't care if you vote Reform, Labour, Conservative, Green, Lib Dem, whatever. As long as you vote for what you believe in and you're not being actually manipulated by other people, because everybody is always talking about the UK is a democracy. Well, if it's democratic, why are you voting for things that you don't actually believe in or want to vote for, and you're being literally told to vote for something else? That's not democratic. That's dictatorial. If you believe in democracy, you will vote for what you actually want. Like I said, Green, many, many years, and I will continue to vote Green for many, many years.
Can I just say something really quick?
No, 1 minute, Shadow, because we're actually going in live. So remember that thought, please, because I think Johnny also wanted something to say to Sam. But Shadow, I will come to you. Yeah.
Thank you, folks. I appreciate that. Sam, my personal opinion, I didn't have any votes here. Sadly, we didn't have any elections here because we'd already had them, so we couldn't vote for anything. But I personally, I've stopped voting on Rosette now. So I will never vote anybody that's even remotely right-wing, for sure, because I don't believe in their prop policies. However, it does give me quite a few choices. So I will vote for the best councillor, the person that would best represent my area. That's who I'd vote for. So it would be less on party, more on local council and what they can do.
And what would you say that is the best for your area?
Oh well, I'm stuck with a Reform. So when they all when the next election comes, I'll go for whoever best represents my area, whoever can deliver, and usually experience gives that. Sometimes you get fresh people and they're really good, but just look for who it is. But I can guarantee until the day I pass, I will always avoid a right wing candidate because they haven't got my interests at all.
Because I've been really worried about people of color, people of minority, especially I'm black and a female as well. People voting Reform, but then you're literally voting your right away, and I'm really worried about that.
Yeah. Try to focus on yourself and not worry about what everybody else is doing. Bring all of your energy and attention back to you, because we can't save everybody. There are literally people who want to jump off the ship. Look at that Banksy statue that was put in
I've seen that. I've seen that.
So people literally are going to have the flag, they're going to put it over their faces and walk over the edge of the cliff without actually seeing the wood for the trees. You can't save everybody. You
that's
save
true.
yourself. And I said, I tell everybody, I saved myself because I left the UK 4 years ago. I knew what was coming. So if you're still there and you can't leave, just make sure that you stay grounded in your energy. Really try to do the best you can with anxiety. I suffered with anxiety quite a lot, actually.
Yeah.
And I recognized that the environment of the UK was making it worse. But all I had to do is
Yeah.
make sure that I bring things back to myself. Spend less time online. Like, really cut your social media down significantly.
Yeah, I've been trying to.
Good, yeah. Put that timer thing on your phone. Go back to doing art, like get colouring in books, or start painting, or go more inside. Like, even you see people now do those colour walks, so they'll try to collect
Yeah.
colour and take photographs. Stuff that makes you creative really gives
Yeah.
you so much of a better vibe and a better energy. And me, I always say that I dislike the UK so much, but when I come back now, because I've spent so much time away, I'm able to
Yeah.
see more of the beauty that actually lives in the country. So really and truly, don't spend your time thinking about these fucking gammons and these bloody idiots and those people who are selling us down the river. Don't think about them, because they're probably got their own shit going on. You know, we need to focus on ourselves. So hopefully that makes you feel a little bit better, Sam. And please do follow me, because if you don't know about me,
Yeah, I followed you.
oh, you do.
Thank
So
you.
you know my content, girl.
Yeah, I do know your content. Thank you for like helping me and like understand more. I've been like listening on, and thank you for having me.
No problem. Thank you so much. Okay, we're going to go to Chucky now, please. Chucky, how are you today?
Hello, I'm very good, thank you.
Lovely, lovely. So
How are
what would you
you?
like to add? Yeah, I'm good. Thank you so much. So what would you like to add to the conversation today?
So I don't know how long I have, but I'll be as quick as I can.
Okay.
And by the way, I follow you. I agree with a lot of things that you say. But you know, we live in the UK. It's a democracy, so that
Is
means
it?
that I'll disagree with some things.
Is it?
I know you have your opinions on that as well. I know you voted Green, and obviously with the local elections, it's been made into a huge thing. Reform, we knew what Nigel Farage did. He led Brexit. We voted for that. That went Pete Tong. He led UKIP, you know, and there's obviously, it just feels a bit hypocritical because a lot of Tories have joined Reform now, so it's Tories point two. Yes. However, I am Ethiopian. I'm a second generation migrant, but I really don't like this thing with the UK that people are saying, and especially Green Party voters. And you can debunk this or whatever, but I feel like with Green Party voters, they just don't understand. The UK cares about demographic change. I know that we need immigrants and stuff like that, but it's a serious problem. It's always these like middle-aged men or these men. There's never any children or women coming to this country across the English Channel and stuff like that. But it's not just about that. I've done my research, I've done history and stuff, but the UK does seriously care about this issue, and there's valid issues, but everyone calls us far right, and it's not fair.
Chucky,
and it's not fair on us that are African.
I'm quite confused by you, Chucky. You said you were, was it Ethiopian, but then you're worried about migrants and children and stuff like that. Like, you literally need to just speak to your family about immigration. Like,
no, I can explain why.
That's the first conversation, okay? And then also, Chucky, is that when you see those small boats coming across, the women and children always come later, because they don't put the children, and then actually women and children are on those boats as well, by the way. You have to understand.
That's
propaganda.
what they say.
1 minute, Chucky. Chucky, 1 minute. Go and Google the photos to actually see that they're actually women and children. If you understand media and you understand propaganda, they're making you think that it is just men on these boats, when that is not true. Men are making the crossings, and young men are making the crossings, okay? Because that crossing is dangerous as hell. You've heard about the children who've also been drowned on those boats, right? You heard about those, Chucky?
Occasionally, but it's very rare.
So you know that children are on the boats, right? So you know that they're on the boats, okay? Because it's so unsafe, they let men are saying, okay, let me go first. Let me try and sort out the situation. Let me set up things for my family, and then they send for them later. That's generally what's happening, okay? They literally send for them later. And now you'll see that there are more refugee centres for women, because what happened last week? A women's refugee centre was attacked by the right. They're saying protect women and children, but they don't like women and children that are not English. So they're still attacking them. Women and children are in the UK, and families are being reunited all of the time in the UK. So please, no, because you need to actually understand what propaganda is. English people and in the UK, you guys don't understand propaganda and how it works. Propaganda.
I understand what you're saying.
No, propaganda, Chucky, is why Reform have all these votes. It is why there is more of a disconnect now in the UK, that Scotland are really pushing for independence, that Wales don't want to have anything to do with England, why Ireland want to unite. It's the English problem, and it's the fact that there is so much manipulation done by the media and by the government. That is what's happening.
I understand what you're saying. Could I have a chance to respond?
You don't understand, but carry on. Go on.
No, listen, I like you. I understand what you're saying. Again, as I said, it's a democracy. However, there's people of the UK that seriously have valid concerns, because you say the right leads to propaganda and stuff like this, and it's just not the case at all. If you look at the common denominator for the reason why we have such an issue, these people coming over are from third world countries. We're paying for hotels. A lot of benefits are going to them from the taxpayer. The taxpayer's funding everything. And at the end of the day, I'm not trolling. I'm not trolling. The reason I'm tired is because
Chucky, I am going to mute you a second, because again, if you just repeat what you've heard, it actually doesn't add anything to the conversation. I know for
I'm
a
not
fact,
repeating what I've heard.
Chucky, please don't unmute. Please don't unmute, okay? Please don't unmute. Because what I like to do in my conversations is have new conversations. I would have known for a fact, Chucky, that you would have been to other lives and said the same things over and over again. And you also would have been given the answer as to why that is the case, or why you feel that way as well. You would have been told, all right? And also, if you went to another space, they would also be able to echo what you're saying. I don't like hearing the same things over and over again.
No, it's okay. I used to be left.
Chucky, please. Repeating the same stuff is boring. It is very,
You won't let me speak.
Chucky, please. You have nothing new to add. That's why I'm muting you. Okay, I'm muting you. So let me address the immigration point first of all, Chucky. Let me address that point. You say that English people, or British people, it's mainly English people, have a problem with the changing demographic of their country. Yeah? That's what you've said, right, Chucky? We'll take one point at a time.
No, I haven't.
What did you say about immigration specifically? Repeat it.
So with immigration, these people are coming from third world countries with Muslim beliefs that are incompatible with this Christian country. Absolutely. As a black...
That's not what you said. Chucky, I'm disconnecting you because I'm literally trying to make it go every single part. Let me address the point you actually did say, Chucky. You're adding new things to the conversation about Muslims, blah, 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 blah. We're obsessed with Muslims. We're scared of everybody. You said about the changing demographic of the UK that people are afraid of that. English people are around the world. They have one of the biggest diasporas around the world. They ethnically changed the demographics of countries. America, South Africa, Australia. They did all of these things already. So guess what? They should accept
South Africa is Dutch, by the way. I just want to say that. South Africa is Dutch.
And also Dutch. Okay, let's talk about white people then. Shadow, thank you so much for interrupting. Let's talk about white people, because I haven't even spoke about race yet. White people, Shadow, well done, have changed the ethnic demographics of countries that did not belong to them. Thank you, Shadow, bringing up whiteness. Thank you. You do not make this conversation to your benefit when you chime in with stuff like that. You make it look worse for yourself. I was not ready even talking about white people yet. I was talking about English people. But if we want to talk about whiteness, let's go for it, guys. Should we do it? Shall we talk about whiteness? Yes. Because they, in their discrimination, MAGA in United States, Reform in the UK, AFD in Germany, those groups they also have in Australia, their racism and their discrimination is across the world. Absolutely across the world. And they're connecting faster through social media. That is exactly what white people are doing. And let me be clear, this is Western white Europeans that are doing this shit. Unfortunately, some Easterners are getting involved in this conversation, even though they were also heavily discriminated against by the West. Really and truly understand your people and understand the stuff that's going to come out of your mouth. Because Fox here, I don't pull no punches when it comes to this stuff at all. You can't make anything go past me. Johnny, you've got something to add, and then we're going to bring in Jono next.
Yeah. So, sorry for spamming my hand. Real quick, third world. This is how. Sorry, Jockey, but you don't sound very educated to me, and I don't mean that offensively. I mean that as in, please read a book, because third world doesn't refer to another, like a poorer country. All it refers to is if they weren't aligned to the US or the Western or the Soviet states. That's all it means. So when you come up and say third world country, you're cosplaying. Really, that's all you're doing.
Hello, can I come in?
Leighton, we've got everybody else on the panel. You see, it's very busy. So please wait your turn, hold your thoughts, and I will get to you when I can get to you. Okay, we're going to go to Jono next, please. Jono, how are you? Jono on the panel? It's a busy panel. I'm going to count you down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, disconnected. We're going to go to Ethan next, please. Ethan, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm lovely, thank you. What do you want to add to the conversation?
I think the biggest thing, and unfortunately you can't block people out, when we're voting, I would love to block people out who are not educated, because it makes a big difference. You know, I'm open to being corrected on my viewpoints, and, you know, I can have a conversation and, you know, sometimes agree to disagree, but there's certain things you can't disagree on. And these people are so stubborn in their ways, and they're being misled by the media. And, you know, because of this, they're thinking immigrants, and they're not realizing that reform doesn't care about them as well. Yeah. And that's one of the biggest things, is education, and people are lacking in that, and it's such a dangerous thing.
Yeah, absolutely true. I talk a lot about education levels and having the ability to self-educate, and also waking people up to understand that the education system in the UK sucks. It sucks. It is one of the worst education systems in the world, because all it does is build slaves. That's all it's for. And I get so annoyed because everything about the UK is always about, compared to America, it's not as bad as America. We haven't got pew-pews on the street. It's not as bad as America. Racism is out and out, so it's not as bad as America. Americans are dumb, so, you know, we're smarter than them. No, the standard of what should be in the UK should be a hell of a lot higher, and it's not. And also on this platform, and I talk about this a lot, English people are dumb, man. Really and truly, the education level is so low. The GCSE results, we're very aware, white working class boys, they do not qualify at all. This system is set up for them, and yet they're not even existing. They're not even excelling in their own system. They're not excelling in their own system. Again, they need to understand why there was so much manipulation done on the people, and why people like myself, or any person from the global majority, anybody who's not white English, even Eastern Europeans,